All right, so boom. Jontay Porter got to be one of the dumbest professional basketball players, scratch that, dumbest professional athletes to have ever walked God's green earth. Have you learned nothing from watching what happened to Calvin Ridley a couple of years ago? Man's got banned for life from the NBA for sports betting.
What? Stupid, fucking dummy, stupid ass niggas.
Sir, you're in the league. Why would you risk and wager money on sports betting when you in the league? This man made a total of about $2.7 million throughout his career. Now, granted, he spent about 4 years on the D League, G League, whatever you want to call it, in developmental. He only had a couple of stints, one with the Grizzlies and currently, before the ban, with the Toronto Raptors. It's only a set amount of games, but you had amassed a total of about 2.7. If you were to remove taxes, managerial fees, whatever, a bunch of different things to where portions of the money has to be divvied up, you will have still earned more than the measly $22,000 that you made off of the $54,000 that you wagered.
Are you stupid? Are you dumb?
Furthermore, they had a VIP account that was linked to this brother, dating years back to where he had wagered millions of dollars. This is some form of addiction.
How the fuck? How? Hold on, bro. How? Are you insane?
The brother of NBA champion Michael Porter Jr. Granted, Michael Porter Jr. ain't like Giannis. He ain't got no pull to keep a brother on a roster spot like Thanasis Antetokounmpo, who's over there cheering on the sidelines and then coming in on cleanup duty with 2 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. But this brother got a brother who in the NBA won a title and will have a roster spot moving forward. He could have at least lobbied for you to have a job somewhere. But rather than do that, you want to go and invest your bread into sports betting for a measly $22,000. You could have made more simply having a 10-day contract at the tail end of the season when teams who have injury-prone rosters need an additional body to be on the sideline. But your dumb ass is over here participating in gambling and not even leaving with a big enough W. It just don't make no sense.
Is the man retarded?
Think about what the risk versus reward is. Furthermore, it was alleged that this man just so happened to disclose personal information regarding his health to a bookie or notorious NBA bettor or sports bettor, whatever the case was. And they did it so sloppy to where it was blatantly obvious that there was some form of flexing and finagling that was going down over here, some form of nefarious freaking intent transpiring, because man's dropped an $80,000 bet.
Is this it? This is what I got all those ass whoopings for?
I need about 350.
Would have paid out $1.1 million. They froze the bet expeditiously because I, who participate in sports betting, I go by the philosophy, #BOB. You bet on bums. Not to say these individuals aren't capable of playing basketball at a high level. If you compare them to the contemporaries, they're simply not as good as other individuals who happen to be stars in the league or, people who can be journeymen or constantly find themselves on roster spots. I would much rather wager my money on an individual who, more often than not, will underperform. But the manner in which Jontay Porter done did it was ridiculous. He entered the game, all of a sudden I got some sort of undisclosed illness. I'm only gonna play 3 minutes and then leave the game and underperform. Have you no shame?
Look at this. Somebody come look at this. Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
Fucking retard.
If you're not on the injury report going into the game, your teammates have no clue of what's going on with you. Your coaches have no clue. All of a sudden, I'm feeling a cramp. Let me head out so we could possibly leave with a bit of cash on this wager. You're stupid. And then whoever you decided to go and share this information with, clearly they ain't thorough, and y'all didn't have some form of understanding if things were to go awry, because you never thought in any of your wildest dreams that you could have messed around and got caught, because they probably threatened that individual with several years behind bars, and they flipped like a motherfucking contortionist. They probably didn't even need to bring in no McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, any particular kinds of cuts of steak or nothing. They simply said, oh, would you like to do several years in prison? Oh, no, it was Jontay Porter.
Stupid, I'm not gonna let you get the chance.
He told me to bet on him. You sloppy. If you're trying to scheme, at least scheme the right way. You should have had in a situation where that particular bettor bet on several different things and messed around and took some L's here, had some exponential W's here, because if your whole racket was to wager 80 and leave with 1.1 mil, have them be willing to lose about 200K on some bets and then mess around and hit on that one so it don't look suspicious. But evidently that never crossed your mind.
Stupid bitch.
January to March, they had an account linked to Jontay Porter where he had wagered 13 different bets. Of those bets, where he wagered about 54,000, only leaving with about a victory of about a 76, so he only left with about $22,000 in profit. Of those bets, there were 3 in particular that had several different legs, and one of them, he had bet on his own Toronto Raptors to lose. Now,
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. Brothers and sisters, I'm having a hard time understanding.
Now, granted, none of these 13 bets did he wager on himself. But for you to bet on your own teammate's downfall, that's crazy to me. Because from a fan's perspective, if you know your team ain't going nowhere, we love to use the terminology of tanking, right? But you have to look at it from a player's perspective. You spend all of your youth grinding to get better at this particular game, whether it's grade school into junior high into high school. You're sacrificing. You ain't hanging out with friends as much. You're constantly having to work on your game. You're sacrificing weekends, summers, all of these different things to work on your game. You then make it to college, whether it be one and done or staying in there in the college system for 2 to 4 years, just continuing to work on your game. You finally make it to the league. If you're a teammate who happens to be a first-round draft pick within the first 10 or 15 in the lottery, more often than not, you'll have a roster spot that's secured. But if you really look at it, you've got to grind to make a name for yourself, at least within the organization, to where they keep you on the sideline and keep you employed. And here you have a teammate who willfully betting on your downfall, but dapping you up at practice, dapping you up on the sidelines during games, finger in the air for a substitution when he comes into the game. Have you no shame?
People betray me, and I keep forgiving them. Stupid idiots. That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Mans need to not only be banned for life, which he is. If I was a Toronto Raptor, you'd have to see me. There'd be fists being rained upon you. You're not about to wager money that you would have already made if you simply stayed employed on this, I think, 2-way contract that he had going on, to give information about you possibly not being available or whatever, you personally checking yourself out of games, and then furthermore, in games that you're not even playing and you wishing on my downfall, I'd have had the brass knucks across your face.
Look like brass knucks to me.
And I know there was a couple of people who had this particular opinion about, well, if you take a look at the NBA, why are they performing, or I should say promoting, so much sports betting? You can't avoid it. Just because there's a promotion of sports betting doesn't mean you as a player should be partaking in it. You know the risk. If they say do not gamble, the fuck you gambling for?
Y'all killing me with this.
Why are you doing everything under the sun to try to get around the rules, and you shocked when there's consequences? There are some rules that are in place that are ridiculous, but one way or another, if it is in place and there's consequences for it, don't fucking break the goddamn rules. It don't make sense. Fam, you 6'10". Where else you gonna go work? Because there's no any particular kind of sports league that will take you now to know that you are willing to not only do that to yourself, but to your teammates, as I stated prior. You 6'10", the fuck you gonna do now? Work at Starbucks? You better start learning e-commerce, maybe learn some Chinese, buddy. Go overseas to where you hope that the news ain't make it there, but this is a global internet, so I'm sure they're aware of it as well. Shanghai Sharks will not be signing you, sir. Better go to Istanbul or fucking Koshitske. Go somewhere where you know they not gonna be out here looking for you so you could possibly get away with it. Try to be some form of attraction or something, or maybe go join the Amish people because your time playing basketball is done.
You're done. You're washed. It's over.
Your brother over here interviewing porn stars. Now you about to have one of the most highly anticipated interviews in Michael Porter Jr.'s podcast history. But that's pretty much gonna be it because your dumbass was willing to risk millions of dollars, all kinds of exposure, things of this nature. For what? 22 G's? Man, and you know what's crazier? With the particular bookie, and this is what I'm gonna close with this particular bookie, wagering 80 grand with a payout of 1.1 million. What do you think the percentage would be on Porter's payout? Let's just say it's 500 grand flat. You think this man couldn't maintain a roster spot for at least a couple more years to where he could have made that money? I understand scheming and want to make under the table particular kind of bread. I get that. Untaxed money, I completely understand that. But is it worth the risk? Clearly not, because now look at your dumb ass. Shunned. You, the second player to be banned by Adam Silver indefinitely. You know who the first was? Wasn't a player. It was Donald Sterling. You're the second person. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, bruh.
You need to be locked up, away from decent, normal people.
Wrong with him, stupid motherfucker. And if you want a sports bet, you better do it the right way with Underdog Fantasy. You watching the NBA playoffs? Of course you are. But what if I told you you could win big just like the players on the court? Because Underdog Fantasy is dropping specials and scorches every single week that could leave you with 100 times your winnings. All you got to do is click the link in my description right now. Download the Underdog Fantasy app, use the promo code Adonis, and they will match your first time deposit up to $100. So you put in 50, they'll give you 50. You put in 10, they'll give you 10. You put in 100, they'll give you 100. So make sure right now you click the link below. Download the Underdog Fantasy app, use the promo code Adonis, ADONIS, and it will match your first time deposit up to $100. And you'll have the opportunity to 100x your winnings because Underdog's the best place to play. Shameless plug, I couldn't help myself. But one way or another, somebody get this brother the fuck up out of here, bruh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We are the police. We are the police. The police of Haiti. The police of Haiti.
Get out of jail! You go to jail, you son of a bitch! All right, hold him back. You go to jail!
Is a no-good, lousy son of a bitch. That's exactly what he is. But he's a no-good bastard for what he did, and he ought to burn in hell for it.
You're killing me, man!
You mean to tell me you watched the entire video but you haven't subscribed? Hit the subscribe button and become a member on Patreon or on YouTube to get access to the Discord. We're waiting for you in the Shadow Realm.
Just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Please! Please!
What are you waiting for, huh? Oh my God.